Liz, how are you? Nice seeing you. Thank you so much for coming. We are learning today Parashat Mishpatim. And Parashat Mishpatim is the first parasha right after Matan Torah. Hashem, Moshe Rabbeinu Hashem gave us the Torah. And right afterwards we start with Parashat Mishpatim. And I would like to give you two scenarios here and ask you a question. This thing happened in Bnei Brak, Israel, okay? Rav Yitzchak Meir, he was the previous mayor of Bnei Brak, one of the previous mayors of Bnei Brak. And in his late years, he was treated in a hospital, and he was not allowed, with the treatments that he took, he was not allowed to drink. So as a result, his mouth was dry all the time. He was constantly, he felt thirsty all the time. He couldn't drink, he wasn't allowed to drink. And so the only relief that you could feel is when someone would give him a cup of water and he would wet his lips a little bit. That's the only thing he could do. So one afternoon, his kids was not there. They were always there, but this one afternoon they were not there. And he really felt that his mouth is so dry, and he wanted help. And there was no one around. A nurse went by. And he asked her, "Can you give me a cup of water to wet? Can you wet my lips?" And she's like, "What are you asking me? Well, am I your slave or something?" Something like that. He felt, of course, he felt very bad, and so he didn't say anything. And later on, his son came. And of course, helped him out and whatever, and he told me what happened. The son got so upset. And he said to his father, "We have to report this. We have to go to, I don't know, director of this hospital or whoever is on top of her, and tell her that she was very rude and it's not the right way." And this, so now this rabbi, he was a very known figure in that place, and later on the director of the hospital himself came to visit him, and the son sees how the father is debating inside him to tell, not to tell, to tell, not to tell, to tell, not to tell, and then he didn't say anything. What do you think?
So he didn't report the complaint?
Huh?
He did not report
the complaint.
Mm.
The question is, should we report for something like that or not? And another scenario, another rabbi, Rav Weiss, they both passed away already, these people. In his late years, he was he suffered from his muscles. The muscles didn't
dystrophy.
Right. Now it takes time for it starts slowly, and then it deteriorates the problem until he cannot even breathe, and becomes very hard. So in the beginning, it started once there was this scenario. He went on a bus, and at that time, just his fingers didn't function or whatever. So he came on the bus and he asked the bus driver, if he can take money, small change, from his wallet. The bus driver got so upset. "What do you want from me? You're supposed to do it. If you cannot do it, go." He said something. So even though it was in front of people, even though he said it very loud, the bus driver, he didn't answer him. He went to one of the passengers and he asked him, "Can you take the right amount and so I could give it to..." He of course gave it right away, and he paid, and nothing happened, and everything was okay. Are we supposed to report a bus driver that acts this way to the passengers? So these two questions came to Rav Yitzchak Zilberstein Shlita. He's the son-in-law of the Pharaoh Eliashiv. He's a very known rabbi in Bnei Brak. And so he basically answered something like that. If it's a life-threatening situation, as the first example, you know, if a nurse answers this way, a nurse is supposed to be a very
compassionate.
Yeah,
Compassionate.
to the patients, right? And if she doesn't feel the pain, who would feel the pain of the patients? Mm-hmm. And sometimes could come to a life-threatening situation, and if she answers this way, of course it's not good. So later on, it's good that we confront, we approach her manager or whoever is on top of her and discuss it with her problem. Could be that she didn't understand exactly what he asked her, or whatever. She should explain herself why she acted this way. The driver, he said, the bus driver, it's not really his duty to start understanding people or the motives of people or their weird or different circumstance, why they can't. So it's not really something that, of course, if he would think for a second, no one likes that people will take care of their wallets. If he asks this kind of questions, there's a problem. Of course, he didn't think of that, and it wasn't right, but he shouldn't, lose his job because of that. It's not. So these are these fine laws that we're dealing when we start talking in Parashat Mishpatim. Parashat Mishpatim starts with laws between people, all kind of disputes between people, all kind of money problems, if somebody steals. Why does the Parsha start with such a thing? You just left Har Sinai, you got the Torah, it was spark and crackles, it was such a interesting, unique kind of event that was never in history and will never be also. And you say to yourself, okay, you got a Torah, so what's in this Torah? Special laws of Shabbat, special laws of, kashrut, special laws of what? Evet Ivri, slaves, what is this? So the rabbis are talking about this, and they say that, it speaks about laws, order, judges, courts, civil laws, basically, if people have all kind of problems. So, what's the idea of this? Why we start with this kind of laws? One of the rabbis explains something interesting. He says, it says in the Midrash, "Lema davar domeh." What does it look like? There's a queen that goes on a way, on a road, and there's an honor guard in front of her. There's honor guard behind her, and she is in between. She's in the middle, right? What's the most important thing in this convoy? The first honor guard, the back honor guard, of course the queen, right? He says, this is the Torah, the Midrash says. Before we got the Torah, Moshe tells them all kind of laws. Mm-hmm. After we got the Torah, again, this type of laws. Mm-hmm. But what's the most important thing? The Torah. Why the Torah needs these honor guards, in front and in the back? Well, what is this honor guards doing? What is the most important?
To protect the law.
So, it says in Pirkei Avot, the world is standing on three basic foundations. The most important things are al adin, al emet, v'al shalom. Justice, truth, and peace.
Wow.
Okay, very important stuff.
Justice,
and so, what is the most important thing from all of this? There is a court system. It's supposed to be a fair court system. And then there's these laws that is relying on the truth, okay, and that causes peace. Because people have disputes, people have problems, and they come to the court, and so you need this system. But the most important thing is to protect, like you said before, the Torah. This is it's not that this law is important or that law important. The Torah. and um, and uh, so these three things, they cause the world to be stable, to protect the world from all these problems. The Torah, the importance of Torah, the main thing of the Torah is Torah Chesed. What is Torah Chesed? Torah Chesed is the Torah of kindness. See how the Torah starts. It says the Torah starts with Chesed and ends with Chesed. Hashem started the Torah with a Chesed. And once I explained it, that Adam and Chava that were created felt that they need clothing, and Hashem was sewing, did clothing for them, as an act of kindness, because he felt that they needed it. And it ends with Chesed. When Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, he buried him, and that's Chesed Shel Emet. So if you want to summarize the Torah, you look at the beginning, you look at the end, you see that it's all around Torah. The whole first book, first Sefer Bereshit, there's not so much laws there. It's the way you're supposed to conduct yourself, like Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, the mothers, Rachel, the way that she gave in. This is what our Torah is all about. And when we have the 10 Commandments, we have the tablets, right? The 5 commands, the first 5 ones, and then the last 5 ones. The first 5 ones, Ben Adam Lamakom. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, Lo Yelech Elokim Echem Al Panai. It thinks between us and Hashem. Second tablet is the second part is the second between us and other people. Not to commit murder, not to steal, not to envy, right? Between us and other people. So, all this law and order is to teach us that in order for us to learn Torah, to get to the ultimate level of Torah, we have to go through Torah. We have to go through laws of Ben Adam L'Chavero. The rabbis say that laws of Ben Adam L'Chavero are even more severe in the eyes of Hashem than Ben Adam L'Makom, because we know that Averot shel Ben Adam L'Chavero, Yom Kippurim lo mechaper. Yom Kippurim does not, erase problems between us and other people. And so these are the things that we have to take care of them. Every institution that we have, it has to go with law and order. Let's say you have a school. If you don't have order, it becomes a chaos. You have to have a schedule. You have to have a system of who's teaching, where does it go, where does the teacher go, which grade, what they teach each class, how time to give for the recess, how many is when the parents can call, when is the time, what do you do. All this law and order is very important. When do you give homework, when do you have tests, when do you have this, it's very important. But the main goal of school is usually to educate. This is the main goal. All the others will help the school to get to its goal, but the main thing is to educate. So is the Torah. Yes, we have the laws and everything, but the main thing is how do we need here, how do we take care, carry out or take care of all kind of problems that are sometimes between people. The idea of the Torah says, it says in Masechet Sotah, it says in, where did I say it before? Gaon Mivilna says it, the Torah, Hashem gave it the Torah, most of the mitzvot is to make people, to please people, lesamech et habrayot. The Torah is not just to limit our life and to make it miserable, to make it hard. Because eventually when you do the mitzvot, it's for our own benefit. There was this son of a rabbi that was stuck in his shidduchim, couldn't get married. He used to date so many girls, and for some reason it didn't work out. He goes out with this girl and then they say no. He goes with this girl, they say no. Sometimes he says no, and as much as he goes out, it doesn't happen, and he doesn't understand what's the problem. He's a good family, he comes from a good house and everything. It doesn't go. He cannot do it. One time, he was on a date with a girl, and the girl sees that it's not for her. And in her mind, she thinks how to say no to him in the end of this date. So towards the end of the date, they went to a restaurant to buy a hot coffee. It was freezing outside. They wanted to buy a hot coffee. So they sat inside, and he ordered 3 cups of coffee to both of them. She didn't understand why 3 cups of coffee. So when it came, she asked him, why did you order 3 cups? He said, well, one's for you, one's for me, and one, when we got in, I saw the guard outside, and he's freezing outside. I'm sure he's going to love, getting some hot coffee, because it's very, very cold. When she heard this answer, she said to herself that she wants to consider her decision, and she gave him another chance. Eventually she got married to him. She gave, because if someone adorns himself with this kind of a quality traits, when he thinks about other people, okay, this is somebody that has that is a human being that will be able to build a good family, a good relationship. That's the foundation is kindness, is caring. What a woman wants from her husband, if not these things, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a very, very thing. So who is this Eved Ivri that we're talking about? Who is this guy? Eved Ivri is a Jewish person that, because of his financial problem, he didn't have so much money. Because of his financial, he did something wrong. He stole some money from someone, or he stole some food or something, and he was caught. Now, if whatever he stole from another person, if it's still in his possession, okay, so he gives it back with a penalty, usually double or whatever he gives it. But if he doesn't have it anymore, he sold it, he bought something else with this or whatever, and he doesn't have it anymore, this is when the court rules that if you cannot pay it, you have to go to a family, work for them, okay, and whenever you make the money, you pay the one that you owe, the one that you stole from, and then you're free. Basically, the slave could be a slave in this kind of a house up to 6 years, not more. The maximum is 6 years. Wow. The idea of the Torah is not slavery of today, whatever we know today. You go to the third world, or even in America 200 years ago, they were, the black people, the African Americans, they were slaves. They really worked hard, and the people the masters used to humiliate them. And in Europe and in everywhere, it's not only here, Arab countries or whatever, whenever you have a slave in the house, they used to humiliate them, they used to call them names, abuse them, do whatever they want with them. This is not the idea of slaving in the Torah. I would say it's called maybe a servant to the person, not a slave. Because by Torah law, the slave, the master is not allowed to abuse him, to make him work very hard, or to make him, to give him a humiliating jobs. He's not allowed to do that. It goes even to an extreme. If the master has only one pillow in the house, he needs to give it to the slave, to the servant. If he has only one piece of bread left, he has to give it to the servant, because in Hebrew, Kana Eved, Kana Adon La'atzmo. If he bought himself a slave, he bought himself a master that's on top of him. He needs to provide to his family. They all have to, he needs to provide to all of them. They have to sit in the same, wherever he sits. It's not a special room for servants or something, like you saw maybe in the movies.
Same table.
Same food, same table. And caring for them and giving to them even more than the master gives to himself.
So even though they're not Jewish?
It's Jew,
We
slave
speak
Jew.
about Evet Ivri. So I'm saying in the laws of Torah, the idea is not to humiliate them or if your master, because when you think about this master, it kind of you get kind of a fake power, and you think that you're able and you're whatever you to do whatever you want with them, and it's not true. It's not the idea. So the Torah teaches us here that how to manage a society in the right way. Now, the society is not only based on how to make sure that everything functions the right way, but how are you as an individual? How do you treat other people? This is what we learn in this parasha. It's amazing, beautiful laws. You cannot abuse orphan kids. They don't have father, mother. They don't have somebody that will guard them. And you think yourself, I can do whatever. Or widow, man or woman, you cannot abuse them. You cannot say, okay, you have to be so careful, with their dignity and everything. All kind of laws regarding a very famous law. If you have, if you see your friends and your enemies donkey that needs to be, unloaded, first help your enemies, because this is how you enhance friendship and whatever. Things like that you say to yourself, the Torah teaches us how to become human, how to care for one another. So important. Wanted to tell you here about Rav Avigdor. There was this rabbi by the name of Avigdor, and he was a rabbi in one of the southern little. It's not a village. It's a moshav kind of a place where people live in Israel, south of Israel. Not so many people. And but he has such a mercy heart. He used to help people. He was this type of person that has the sixth sense, that he feels people what they need. Sometimes the only thing that you need to give is only an advice, not even more. But he felt if somebody needs a financial aid, if somebody needs a mental, emotional help, if somebody needed, he was always there. So one time he sat in his house and he was studying. He hears a knock on the door. Very poor-looking guy came in. His clothing were old, rugged, worn out. He had a new knapsack, but he looked he looked tired. He looked exhausted. The rabbi is like, "Do you want to eat something? You come from a long way." He said, "Yes." Quickly, he arranged something for him to eat, and then he offered his own bed so he can go and sleep there. Fine. He took his day. He slept there that night. The next day, he found another person that would offer him, a bedroom for the night. And in 48 hours that he was in that little place, in that little village or whatever, there were 8 burglaries there. And they found to know that he was the one that stole from all this, including from the rabbi. From the rabbi, from the host, and from another 6 people. So 6 houses all together. The people felt that they wanted to be protected. They started to lock their houses, make sure no one comes in or whatever. Very careful with who comes in the house and everything. But this robber, he was very sophisticated. He remembered that in the rabbi's house there were fine silverware. And he wanted to take them, to possess them. So a week later, in the middle of the night, he came back to the rabbi's house to steal from him. The rabbi was still studying. And then he sneaked in and he saw the rabbi. He felt embarrassed. And the rabbi is, come on, you're probably very tired, you're probably very hungry, you want to eat? The rabbi came and started to give him something to eat, this and that. And he ate something, he thanked the rabbi and he left. He felt bad, whatever, he left. And early in the morning, the policemen are knocking in the rabbi's house. Rabbi, Rabbi. So he opened the door. What happened? Look what we found. They had this robber, okay, the thief, and the knapsack that he had, and the silverware of the rabbi were there. Rabbi, do you recognize? Is it yours? So the rabbi said, yes, I recognize, it's mine, but I gave him permission to take it. It's okay. I gave him the permission. The policemen were shocked, they were surprised, but okay, they let him free, this guy, and they left the house. They left everything, they left the house. Now, the thief, he felt trapped, because in a way he knew that the rabbi knows that he stole from his house, and every second, you know, he could call them again and give them, hand him over to them, because so the rabbi, I told you, he had this sixth sense, so he felt him, and he says, listen to me, I see that you are so sophisticated. I see that you're so smart. You have so much talents. I want you to direct it to positive. Why to negative? I know that you can do it. I know that you have the abilities. He started talking to him. What do you think? This rabbi is too innocent? He's naive? You think the rabbi is naive?
Oh, no.
The next day, there was an announcement in the shul, and the guy announced there, this guest in that little town, he left all the stolen merchandise in that shul. Whoever wants can come and claim the stolen goods, because he wants to do tshuva. He became a real chazor b'tshuva from the rabbi's speech and everything. And because the rabbi gave him so much trust and confidence that he can do it, he founded later on, it took time of course, he founded later on some social enterprises to help people, how to build them all from the beginning, how to start, how to this and that. He did great stuff afterwards. And this is because the rabbi believed in him. This is the idea of Parashat Mishpatim. In the Western world, whenever somebody steals, so how does the society take care of it? They go to the court, and if he's there, they found him that to blame him, he needs to go to jail, right? He stays there for a while. And what do we gain when this guy goes to jail? A small robber or small thief that the only thing that he knew is how to break into cars. When he leaves that jail, he knows how to rob a bank now. Why? All his partners in the jail, in the cell, they sit and they teach him how to be more sophisticated, how to, to outsmart the system.
This is why you don't believe in mystery. Yeah.
Besides, so they don't cure the problem, they don't make it worse. Besides, they have to provide him food as long as he's there, heat, clothing, medicine, insurance. I don't know exactly what. The society pays so much for a system that doesn't work. The Torah says, instead of taking care of the situation this way, instead of this, build the guy, build him. Put him in this house that will take care of him, in this family. He will pay whatever he owes. He learns how to be responsible. He learns how to take care of stuff. He keeps his dignity. They are not allowed to abuse him or to call him names or to say all kind of stuff to him, right? So once his name is kept and his dignity and everything, he builds a family there. He takes care, right? Everyone wants to be free. Everyone wants to be independent. People think, oh, if he's so protected in this house, why should he leave? Again, as I say, everyone wants to be independent. No one likes when somebody's on top of his head and telling him, do this, do that. Even though, it's not abusing system and everything, but still no one likes to be there. And the first opportunity that he has, he'll pay his dues, his whatever he owes, and he goes and he can be on his own. This is what the Torah teaches us. This is such a better system because you want to take care of the person, you want to take care of his personality, you want to take care of his quality traits, you know, and you care for the individual, not only for the society, not only for the social. When you go to when the Western world, they put this guy in the jail, basically it's only a prevention for a short time until he leaves the jail, and maybe make him, you know, it's like make him afraid, you know, not to do it again. So they give him some kind of a punishment, but not more than that. So see how when the Torah wants us to get out of our way and care about other people, see how it affects. There's something that's called נושא בעול עם חברו. מה זה נושא בעול עם חברו? You kind of share the burden with somebody else. You see somebody that is in distress. You see somebody that has a problem. You see somebody that suffers, go through some kind of a suffer, go through some kind of a trouble. Lend a hand. And again, sometimes it's just giving a good advice. Sometimes emotional aid. Sometimes financial. Sometimes just to listen. It doesn't need more than that. If the other one feels that somebody feels him, somebody understands him, somebody listens to him, it's enough for him. He gets strength from that, and he can continue on with his life. He gets energy. That's what's needed. About maybe 100 years ago, lived Rav Chaim Leib Auerbach. He was the father of Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. He passed away some time ago. So it was his father. It was time of World War I. World War I in Israel at that time. The British mandate, they were about to get to govern Israel from the Turkish, but the Turkish was still in Israel. They were becoming weak and weak. They were not strong anymore. And at that time, they wanted to draft all the young people in Israel to the army to fight, to the Turkish army. Turkish army was very, very weak at that time, and everyone knew they didn't train their soldiers so well. They didn't, you know, there was no basic element stuff for the soldiers. The soldiers will suffer, and eventually they will die because they didn't even know how to fight. So for them, it's a life and death situation. They didn't want to leave and to go to fight wars that nothing to do for them. And so 70 young people got this letter that they are drafted to the army. Now, Rav Chaim Leib, he was old at that time. He would not get a letter to be drafted to the army for sure. But he felt the pain. He felt that he needs to do something for these young people, that they will all go to the army and, God forbid, would not come back. 70 widows, I don't know how many kids, and Chava, Jewish people, you know. He didn't want them to go to the army. He thought, what should I do, what should I do, what should I do? He risked himself. He went to the Persian embassy, and somehow, in a tricky way, he got 70 Persian passports, and he gave it to all these 70 people that were drafted to that got this letter already. Now, the authorities, the Turkish authorities, suspected that something weird is here, and you know. All of a sudden, these 70 people that were called, they're all Persian residents. Cannot be. So they started to investigate. They found to know it's all because of this Rav Chaim Leib. They took him, they caught him, they took him to the judge. What is this? How did you do such a thing? Now, when he goes to the judge, you know, the judges there, they were not, you know, so much to the truth and this. It was life-threatening situation to him. They could, you know, ask his death or whatever. He didn't know what to do, and he started praying. And and people in his community all started to pray, say Tehillim, and do tzedakot, and do whatever they could. They were all poor people at that time, but whatever they could. Little kids in the yeshivot, in the cheder, in here, in there, all started to say Tehillim for him that he should win this court. How can you win this court? You cannot win. By nature, you cannot win this court. So, so the judge is asking him, what did you do? He said, I'll tell you the truth. I gave this 70, I admit I did that, and I gave these 70 passports to these people because they really were in Persia at that time when they were born. So they're entitled to get these passports. What do you mean? He tells him, usually Iranian people, Persian people, they are dark skin, and these people are all light skin. What is this? He says, yes, these people, they ran away from Russia. And on the way, they did it through Persia, through Iran. They came to Israel. Now, at that time, they weren't in Iran, okay? So they're entitled to get it. So what? They ran away from the Russian army. They came to here to get, The judge, he wanted to give him a death penalty. But he told them, you know something? If you're so smart, if you can think such a thing, how to outsmart the system, I'm sure we can use your knowledge for better purposes. And he let him free. If you're so smart, chaval to make you to kill you, we can use your brain for something else. So they asked Reb Chaim Leib later, how did you do that? How could you take such a risk when you know that these people might kill you? It says, Kol ha-merachem al habriyot, merachamim alav min hashamayim. Whoever cares, thinks, have mercy on other people, Hashem, from heaven, they will take care of him. They will have mercy on him too. That's a very important thing. Kol ha-merachem al habriyot, merachamim alav min hashamayim. Okay? So, see how important when you care about other people. One of the rabbis says another thing. He says, if we would start with laws of Torah, let's say, laws of Shabbat, let's say. Shabbat is a very severe law if you violate the Shabbat. But if somebody violates the Shabbat in heaven, okay, somebody could speak on his behalf, because when somebody violates Shabbat, he doesn't have the tools to see what damage it does to the world when he violates the Shabbat. But when somebody is violent or is bad or is treating bad to another Jew, to another person, he speaks Lashon Hara on him, reports on him to the authorities, damages in some kind of a way. Everyone sees, and he also can see the damage that he does to the person. Okay? You cannot say, oh, I didn't know about this. And so no one can protect you in heaven when you do such a thing. This is why עבירות שבין אדם לחברו, it's even more severe than עבירות שבין אדם למקום.
So what do you do if threats like this come to you?
What type of case?
Threats like this. Like you said, if somebody said that they're going to report you or do something...
a lot of tzedakot, like Yehoshua did, a lot of tefillot, a lot of tehillim, and try not to, try to be honest, not to do these tricky things, because one day somebody will catch you, God forbid. So always be straight. My husband always gets these questions, even from our very immediate students. Rabbi, can I report that I get much lower salary, not to pay taxes? Rabbi, can I do this? Can I get food stamps? Can I? The rabbi always says, be straight. Don't do this stuff, because, why to teach yourself to lie and then to bear? Then you bear consequences. The kids see it. They see that it's not. So it says, it's very interesting story. In a little house, okay, in the end of the village, lived an old man. And one morning, he heard knocks on his door. He opens the door. He sees a young lad comes to him, huffing, puffing, almost was running so much, and he was trying to catch his breath. So he let him in, and he tells him, "How can I help you?" He says, "I want to tell you." This young lad tells him, "I dreamt a dream at night. I dreamt a dream that in the end of the village lives an old man in this house. And this old man has a big diamond in his house, and he's giving me the diamond in his dream. So I came. Can you give me the diamond?" The old man says, "If you really want it, I'll give it to you." He goes to the closet. He opens a nice box, really, really nice, expensive, beautiful diamond, and he gives it to him. You sure? It's okay? Legit? I thought? He says, "Yeah, you can take it." He thanked him so much. He went home all day long. He's looking at this diamond, how beautiful it is, how it's so sparkling, how it's, he thinks, what should I do with this and that? And when he wants to go to sleep, he cannot go to sleep. He starts thinking, why did this old man that doesn't know me, why did he give me this diamond? So the whole night he's thinking, what is his motive, or how come he gave it to him? And so early in the morning he goes back to him and he knocks at the door. He says, "What now?" He says, "I came to give you back the diamond." He said, "Why?" He says, "Because you didn't know me and you gave me this diamond so nicely. I want to ask you something else instead. Can you teach me, can you tell me the ability to give? You gave me something that is very important, I'm sure, that's very expensive, to somebody that you don't know. But how could you give something so expensive to someone else that you don't know? Can you teach me? Can you give me this ability to give to others? This is more important than the diamond itself. To be able to give to others. This is what our Torah wants from us. To think about other people, to give to them." It says that when Israel were slave to Paro in Egypt, they worked for him very, very hard. It says, "Em avdu avodat levenim kasha." מה זה עבודת levenim? Brickwork. The brickwork was very, very tough. It was very, very hard. They had to build slowly. And so, like it says, "Bechomer uveLevenim," with bricks. B'chol avodah they worked with all these things. And then Hashem took them out of Mitzrayim, so that instead of working for Paro to build his empire, okay, so that they will start working and building, okay, their spiritual world. Okay, the Torah, they got the Torah to be elevated, to build their spiritual world, to come close to Hashem. So, and when they got the Torah, it says in our parasha, "Vayir'u et Elokei Israel, vehema ותחת רגליו כמעשה לבנת הספיר." Livnat is also from the word levena, the brick that we were talking about. Livnat asapir. The Jewish people got the merit to build like bricks in order to build Malchut Shamayim alei adamot, to build Hashem's presence, okay, in this world, among, the Gentiles, okay, among ourselves, to become lofty, to become different, to become elevated in this world. This is what Hashem wants from us. So how was one of the things that make people to unite, to become one, is when they're all sharing the same burden. When it's hard to all of them, you see that she has the same problem, you come to her, you talk to each other, you become friends because you share the same problem, right? because they went through this trouble in Egypt, they felt they have something in common, and the road, the path to become Jewish people, they started as individuals. Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, they were the only ones that believed in Hashem. They started as individuals. And in Egypt, because they went through tough times, they became a nation, because they were sharing the same burden, the same problem. And this is what Hashem wants us, to complete this progress, this process of coming close to Hashem. Here's a true story that happened about 15 years ago. There was this guy by the name Moshe, okay? And Moshe, he was a 32-year-old guy that was a religious man that was learning, sitting and learning. One day, he felt that he felt that he's not something. He didn't feel good. He felt that he's not feeling good. He's tired all the time. He's weak all the time. He's not seeing well or something. He went to do some checkups by a doctor. And yeah, of course, the doctor came with bad results. His kidneys are in a big danger. He has all kind of tumors there, whatever, and he needs to be treated in LA. They told him if he's going to go to Los Angeles, there's a good hospital that will take care of him. Where's the money? He doesn't have the money to go there. He doesn't know what to do. So he went to the local rabbi. He asked him, what should you do? The rabbi referred him to some people that deal with, all these issues, and they offered him, they told him, listen, we're going to find the funds and everything, don't worry. They gave him some money to go to LA to start the treatment over there. Over there, the people in LA also, welcomed him in the airport, took him straight to the hospital, found a place for him, whatever. He needs to be taken care of there. Now, they need the money to pay the doctors. So they have a list of very good-hearted people, Jewish people, that they would go to fundraise for him. So the first one in the list was this rich person. They came to him and they asked him, listen, we have a problem. This guy, his kidneys, the problem, this and that, and they explained him the problem. They thought he'll give them some few $1,000s, and then they will continue on to another man and another man until they'll gather whatever they need. But from some reason, this rich person has an inner voice in him that says, pay the whole amount. And he doesn't understand why. It's not the first time I'm giving tzedakah, and it's not the last time, and I will continue giving tzedakah so many times. Why to give the big amount? The big amount is I don't know how many, the hundreds of thousands of dollars. But something in him tells him, give him the whole amount. And the people, they see that he's debating, he's thinking, they're hesitating, and they don't understand why they're hesitating. Okay, give us some amount, and that's it. So he takes a check, he signs his name, and he tells to the people, you can write any amount that you want, everything on me.
Wow.
They say, what? You don't really have to. We didn't expect you to pay the whole amount. We can go to other people, don't worry. No, it's on me. I want Hashem to help him right away, quickly, blah, blah, blah. Started to thank him. He said, don't even think about this, just go. Okay? So they right away went, they got the doctors. He started to be treated. For 2.5 months he was in that hospital. And then he was still weak and tired, of course, but at least the doctors was able to cure him, and he needed to rest and everything, whatever, but he was released from the hospital, Baruch Hashem. Now, Hanukkah was approaching, and he was thinking, how can I thank this rich man? He really gave me everything, and he didn't really have to and everything. As a gratitude, he went and he bought him a nice silver menorah to give him as a present. he sends the delivery guys to give it to him. He wasn't home. They knocked, they called, they rang the bell. He was not home. Made few phone calls. They found a note that is one of his. He is in one of his offices in the east side in Manhattan. Okay, so they have to travel now to Manhattan to give it to him over there. They do it. They go all the way there. They go to his floor. This rich man at that moment, he was there. Everything was okay. He did a good deal now at that moment. The people left. And he left in his office. He felt good, Baruch Hashem, you know, business is running usual, everything is fine. He has a lot of nachat from his kids and everything. But from some reason at that moment, he felt that he gets dizzy, he doesn't see well, his heart starts pumping very hard. He starts, I don't know, if he feels not good, and on the spot he just fell on the floor. He lost the conscience or whatever. The guys, the delivery guys, are, you know, knocking or ringing the bell, and they pushed the door. It was open. They came in and they see a man on the floor. Apparently, miraculously, these two people, they were Hatzalah guys. Quickly, they take care of him. They see he's in the middle of a very severe heart attack. Take care of him right away, let him breathe or whatever, give him whatever he needs. And it took him some time until he felt better. He came to himself, he sat on the chair, and he's like, "Who are you? And where did you come from?" They say, "We're delivery people. We came to give you this menorah, wow. This Moshe that you just gave him such a nice donation. Wanted to send you a gift." So this Moshe, he wrote him a letter, and he thanked him and everything. And in the end of the letter, he told him, he wrote something. He said, "You tell me much." No, he said, he wrote, "Leman hutav li ba'avulcha, v'chayta nafshi tachtecha." Because of you, I felt so much better, and I got my life because of you. So this guy is reading it and says to himself, who exactly helped who? You know? It says, יותר משבעל הבית עושה לעני, עושה העני עם בעל הבית. More than the rich man does what the poor man does to a rich man. We don't really see it always on the spot, but this is how it is. So basically, Parashat Mishpatim is given to us after Matan Torah, after we got the Torah, to let us understand that sometimes the simple mitzvot that we got, sometimes Hashem wants from us to lend a hand, to hear another person's pain, to be there for him, not even more than that, because this is the real test of Emunah in Hashem. Emunah in Hashem is, you can see it in the simple things, in the little things, in everyday life. Hashem doesn't want us just to be spiritual in the shul, in the synagogue, or on Shabbat, on the Shabbat table, or when you're in the Leil Seder, when you do Avadim Einu and all this. Hashem wants us to be spiritual, even in the little details when you're not at home and doing all these things, but you see somebody that needs a help, okay? Where are you at that time? To give in, to care about other people. The ability to give, exactly like that guy got from the old person, the ability to give people, you know, to help them emotionally, spiritually, whatever, this worth than any other diamonds or valuables that we have. This is what the Torah teaches us. And this is what we get in Parashat Mishpatim. Thank you so much. God bless you.